Good morning, everyone. This is Source Code X, aka Jazz Fusion Guy, and I'm going to talk about just a little repair saga that I went through with a pair of some of Sony's finest headphones that they ever came out with. These are the Sony MDR-V6. And they go a ways back. You'll even see the characters on Frasier wearing these headphones. But what happened is, if you look right here, this doesn't look so good or normal, does it? Well, what happened is, I like to relax when I'm watching YouTube videos on my iPad, or whether I'm creating music on my iPad, and these are my headphones of choice. And when I say I like to relax, I keep my iPad and these headphones beside my lazy boy chair in the den when I'm not using them. And I went to put them on one day, and this headphone, the left channel, was hanging completely loose. This area here was completely shattered, and all this plastic was scattered everywhere around my den chair. Now, nobody in the house wants to admit stepping on them, and I don't remember stepping on them, but that wasn't the issue. They were broke. So the first thing I thought I would try in repairing these guys is this special stuff called Bondic, liquid to plastic in 4 seconds. Well, inside this case, I'm not going to open it up, is a little bit of special substance that you put on your area you want to repair. And also inside this case is a UV light emitter, and you hold this for a very few seconds over this repair chemical. It's not glue. It actually hardens into a nice brand new repair. And I figured that's going to work great. They show you doing all these different things that you can do your repairs, and I've used them on like scissor handles that were broken, and I put this stuff in between the break and it worked great. However, no good for this operation. I left it on the proper time, UV'd at the proper time, no go. So my next thing to try was my generic cyanoacrylate. I've got a lot of this stuff around the shop, and didn't hold very well. So what I did was I went ahead and put a little bit of that in the repair areas that needed repairing. And then I've got this material called 2P-10, which comes with the special adhesive. And then once you get your adhesive put on, then you spray it with the activator, and literally within 2 to 3 seconds it sets up, and it sets up hard. So I did a mix of this generic cyanoacrylate and then gobs of this thick adhesive, and then I sprayed the activator all over it, and it's nice and hard and tight. So the next thing to do was to put everything back together. So I had to put this black plastic piece on with a screw. However, the screw that was originally there, you'll see these flush mount little screws. That's what they look like. And the length they provided, I don't know whether this thing snapped off somewhere and was lost in the carpet, but that didn't work. Then I tried this screw, and I was trying to cut it off, saw it off to make it a good length in the vise, but when I put it in the vise, maybe I'm not a really good vise user, this is what happened to the head of the screw. Oop, no good. So my next try was this guy, and it just didn't want to tighten. So I looked up, you know, I'm like most people do, you keep extra stuff laying around, and I found a screw similar to that, and I kept trying to screw this guy in, he wouldn't take. So I figured, you know, the hole is not deep enough. So I went to my drill bit selection. I picked the smallest one, and I screwed through the hole to where you can see this slight hole peeking through. So I knew I'd gone all the way through. And then I took my trusty Craftsman screwdriver and very carefully screwed it in. It's nice and tight. You'll notice on this other side, on the right channel, you have these black plastic parts that come together and hold your cable going into the headphones. However, this was not possible to do because it had snapped off, and I couldn't even line it up anyway. So the cable's just kind of loose in the air, but it's no big deal. These fit, these adjust nicely to my head. You know, it bends, it works. So I guess what I'm trying to say is Bondic does not always work all the time, only in certain situations. It didn't stay where I put it. It peeled right off of the black plastic, and it was clean. So I don't know what happened. Maybe the stuff is out of date, the liquid. Regular glue, no go. Regular crazy glue, no go. But 2P-10 activator and 2P-10 adhesive thick. Like I said, I put gobs of this on, and I sprayed and sprayed and sprayed all the area around here. I had it protected, and it is solid. So, you know, it's funny. I have 3 pairs of these at the house. One in the studio upstairs, one on the computer in the den, and then one for my iPad. And because I wasn't sure whether this repair was going to take or not, I bought another pair off eBay for like 30 bucks. So I'm going to have plenty of these around the house. But what I wanted to say, when all else fails, whatever fancy kind of polymer or cyanoacrylate fails, find the right screw, make the right hole, find the right screwdriver to fit little tiny screws if you need to, but I didn't need to in the end. I needed a nice, long, regular head screwdriver. And once the repair was set up, I just screwed it together, and now I have a headphone ready to go. Thanks, in no small part, to 2P-10 glue and activator. So that's the end of my little saga of telling you how to fix stuff that very well may look hopeless. It is not always hopeless. You can fix stuff. It may not look pretty, but hey, you're not wearing these in a TV show like Frasier. Alright, Well, that's Source Codex signing off here on this Saturday morning, right before the Belmont Stakes this afternoon. And we will be partying down and watching the horse races. Ciao!